For this next section, I should probably turn it over to Robbi, because Robbi is our Director of Theatrical Services, technical guru, and the other half of my brain most of the time. So here's Robbi to talk a little bit about the technical side.
We spend a lot of time working on what are the technical elements that we want to add to the house. So we look at a lot of things to enhance the scenic that we're doing and give the actors that assistance to help them to perform their jobs the most effectively. So we do that in a lot of ways. We do it with lighting, we do it with audio, we do it with special effects, because we try to augment the experience not only for the guests going through, but also the experience the actors have with that. Lighting for us becomes extremely important. We're trying to control those where the guests are going to go in the house, what they're going to look at. We're trying to control that experience through lighting. So we use a lot of different theatrical lighting fixtures. Obviously, we do a lot of stage shows in our park during the day, so we do a lot of theatrical style lighting. But we also use just a lot of conventional fixtures, so that we're trying to light them with conventional fixtures in some ways as well. Our audio is extremely important because we do custom design tracks. Although we use a lot of needle drop music, we also do create some music for the event. So we're going ahead and putting those pieces of music together. We're creating sound effects. Our sound systems are set up so that they are zoned in each of the houses and outside in the scare zone, so that we can have multiple tracks play throughout the course of the house. So you may have an overall bed of music that may play, or you may have very specific audio that's in each room. We use a lot of triggered audio effects because we are open from 7 o'clock until 2 a.m. Our performers their voices couldn't possibly last that long. So when we have triggered effects, we have an eon speaker, just like you see here, that may be behind a specific effect. And so that actor has the opportunity to press a button, or step on a switch, or step on a trigger pad, so that they can trigger audio effects. So those might be screams or yells or any kind of thing that we want to trigger for that. And we typically will put that on a playback device that allows us to have multiple versions of that, so it's not the exact same thing. So there might be 8 different versions of that scream or yell when somebody trips on it.
One of my favorite audio stories, Robbi mentioned that we do develop our own soundtracks and quite often our own sound effects. We could not find, for the longest time, a really good vomit sound effect, because we had a vomit animation, and the one that came with it was not quite as juicy or as chunky as I wanted. So I walked into the audio studio one day and listening to different things that had been sent my way, and I went, Bill, our audio engineer, I said, Bill, it doesn't sound like somebody's really horking up chunks, is what sorry, you guys just ate. Wait, I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so it really did be chunky and juicy and all that sort of stuff. And the truth of the matter is, he said, well, Scott, I've got this one, and he was like, I got this one, I got this one, He said, what do you want? I said, I want something that sounds like this. He then said, great, go in the studio. And for the next half hour, I was sitting in front of the big microphone going, So to this day, if you go through, oh gosh, which house? Taste of Blood, thank you. If you go through Taste of Blood, and you go by the horking animation, you'll hear my voice. So, it's amazing what you do. I will be. One more time. You download that. You download one more. That was so pretty, wasn't it? Tomorrow on YouTube.
You make it so appetizing to be here tonight. So thank you, Scott, for that graphic.
I've done all kinds of sound effects. Let me tell you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, and now leading into atmospheric effects. And then I'll tell you the story about the scent machine.
Oh boy, this is going to be fun. But just one other thing on audio. That is, the trigger effects that we use are sometimes what provides the sense of scare. There's a great deal of startle effect that the actor is allowed to use with this. So what that does is they gauge that very effectively as guests are coming through or when they're using that. And oftentimes it's tied together with a lighting effect as well. So there might be a scare door or a drop door or a slide door. One of my favorites was actually a sliding door that was up above a cabinet. And what we were able to do is when the actor would slide that door open, the light comes on, the sound effect goes, they're able to close it again. Very, very effective as a start scare. Back to atmospheric effects. We use a lot of different styles of atmospheric effects. Everything from illusions, there might be Pepper's ghost effects or other types of lighting and illusion effects from that, puppets, things like that, mirror effects. But we also use a lot of, obviously, smoke and fog. We have some of our friends from Froggy's Fog here today, and we use a lot of their fog products. And we use a lot of haze in the air because we have laser effects and things that we use as part of our atmosphere to create the mood throughout the park and other kinds of lighting effects that go through the park. But in the actual houses, there may be areas where we're trying to control the amount of smoke we have in a specific area. So we have fans and other things to control those types of effects. We use water effects in a lot of different houses, and water effects in different ways, air cannons and things like that, plus a lot of other types of animations and triggered effects like that. Some of them may be manually triggered by the actor, some of them may be on timer, some of them may be triggered by the actual guest going through. So it just depends on that. We try to custom make what makes the most sense for that particular house as we're going through.
Now, just out of curiosity, how many of you use scent machines in your homes? I mean, several of you? I'll tell you, a scent machine can really set the tone. Can really set the tone for something. And so, we often have call-outs in our venue flows for various scent machines. And what they'll do is they'll come to me with these little envelopes, and they don't tell me what the scent is in the envelope. It's just like a little, it looks like a perfume sample, that little piece of paper. Take it out of the envelope, sniff it, and I'm like, no, that's not right. Oh, that's not right. They did one called the smell of death. I don't know who makes it, but it's very similar to if you've ever had a cat die under your front porch. It was horrid. It was absolutely horrible. I was so mad that they didn't tell me that I snuck the envelope out and then opened it and snuck it into somebody's desk drawer.
It wasn't mine.
No, it wasn't obvious. But revenge is sweet. It really is. Obviously, costuming and makeup is very, very important. For our event last year, it did require, well, just to give you some idea, our cast, we hire approximately 1,000 people for our Howl-O-Scream. And they all have to have costumes. So multiple costumes, multiple costume pieces, and these are some shots that are actually taken of some of our stuff that we use in the back areas. This shot up here is last year we had the House of Fame models. That was all of their clothing. They were made out of nothing but zippers, and they were exact replicas of the outfits that were worn in the television commercial. This is one of our makeup stations. There's just one of our bags of makeup. What we try to do with makeup is we try to have as much of our makeup self-applied as we possibly can. We train our performers to do their own makeup. However, some of the folks that you saw down here obviously were airbrushed. Some of them had prosthetics, and that's very difficult to do on yourself. It can be done, but we try to utilize the best artists possible to use those kinds of things. We also started making our own prosthetics. Right down here, and you can see these little bags that one says boils and stitches and welts and cat scratches, that sort of thing. Those obviously are applied and painted. And this is a wonderful compound that I can't remember the name of. And I know Kendrick is here today. What? Watermelon. Who said that? Oh, you have one? You do? Very good. That's exactly what it is. And they're great because you can actually feather out the edges and they blend in beautifully. They're really cool. Well, here's a lovely example. Right? So find this nice lady throughout the course of the night and say, hey, can I see your watermelon?